let's talk about your guys getting the W against Tennessee, embarrassing them so much that they ended up firing their head coach Brian Callahan. They end up one
Yeah.
and five this year. He only had 4 wins in between last year and this year total. So you
I
show him
mean,
the door.
Tennessee has the absolute worst roster in the NFL right now. So I don't think there was really any head coach that can coach up the Tennessee Titans to being 500 or better. Last week against the Cardinals, they were really lucky to get that game. So they should be a defeated team. you know?
Yeah,
So
Arizona handed him that game last week.
exactly, Arizona gave it away. So as for the Raiders, yeah, it's always great to get a win no matter how it looks like. It was a really ugly win, being what the Titans are and what their roster is, and where they're at as a franchise. The Raiders coming into the season, by my own prediction, I thought they were going to be a 8 to 9 to 10 win team. I thought they were going to be much better than what they are. Regardless, they should have dog walked the Tennessee Titans. This should have been a 30 to 10, 30 to 7 whooping, and it was not. So
Calvin
it's
Ridley,
great
I
to
think,
get the
is
win.
robbing the Titans. By the way, it's crazy that Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett being there, and they both had one receiving target.
Calvin Ridley, I don't even think he played. I think he was like one series or
That's what
he
I'm
was
saying.
not in the
Like,
game. So
yeah, this offense is, to your point, is terrible.
it's
So
terrible.
yeah,
It's terrible. For the Raiders, the offensive line is still a work in progress. It's still not very good. Um, One amazing stat is Ashton Jeanty has more yards after contact than yards from just running the ball traditionally. So like that's how like he's getting hit in the backfield and he's still he's still getting plus yardage. So it's like the most impressive 3.5 yards per carry. It's the most impressive 3.5 yard per carry average in the NFL.
I was watching a bit of that game with you. Well, not necessarily with you, but I mean at the same time. And I definitely was seeing that O line could not.
It's terrible. It's
I mean,
absolutely
Gentry
terrible.
couldn't even get to the line of scrimmage on
Right.
plays.
It's
So,
terrible.
in your opinion, is it coaching? Is it player personnel? Is it a combination? What do you think is the biggest
I
deficiency on
think
that?
they're the number one thing. They got to get out of shotgun. The shotgun, the pistol formation. You got to help your tackles out. You're playing with a backup in Stone Forsyth and DJ Glaze, the young right tackle. Um, DJ Glaze, he struggles against speed rushers. So when you have the quarterback in shotgun or in pistol, you got these linebackers, you got these guys doing stunts. The defensive ends are going to come out wide. So it's the angle that they're able to collapse the pocket on the quarterback. And DJ Glaze can't get out there fast enough. So he's off balance. So you're not really helping your offensive line and you're not helping your quarterback when you have them in shotgun. And you guys heard me bitching about this on the text thread where when they're under center, when Geno is under center and they run the ball or they do a play action pass, they move the ball. They look like a decent offense, but then they go back to shotgun and pistol and it takes too long for the wide receivers to get to their spots for these timing routes to work. It takes too long. And the offensive line is not going to be able to hold their position, hold up that pocket for long enough for those wide receivers and tight ends and so on to hit their spots. So I think part of it is coaching where Chip Kelly is not helping his quarterback and his O line. He's putting them in a position to fail. And Geno threw another pick. I mean, and that's on him. He should have just threw the ball away. You're in field goal range. Now you add another field goal. Um, but instead he rolls right. There's nothing there. Throw it away. You're already out of the hash marks. Throw it away. Instead, you look left and you throw it across your body, you throw it across the field, and you threw it right to the defender. So it was that was on him. That's not bad luck, as he said in the press conference. that's on you, man. Like there are some picks that he's thrown where the ball gets tipped and the defender gets it. Those are really unfortunate. Those okay, we can say those are bad luck. It's just the tip of the ball, but there's still 6, 7, 8 interceptions that you just read the play wrong and threw it to the wrong jersey. Like those are on you. Like the other thing is like, you gotta maintain the run. They didn't maintain the run. They get the fumble on like the 2-yard line and they do this trickeration where they're trying to throw it to the right guard, Alex Kappa. Like, shout out Alex Kappa. That was a very athletic attempt on trying to get a diving catch. Shout out to him, but that was a terrible call. There's a reason why you spent your draft getting Ashton Jeanty. Run the ball 4 times. Just power run 4 times. Like if I was Pete Carroll, that would have been my message to the team, and Chip Kelly would have been, I don't pick our best run play and we're going to power that ball down these mofos' throats. Shove it down their throat. Run it, run it, run it 4 times in a row if we have to, because how pumped would have been the Raider Nation, the fans, how pumped would have the offensive line, and how pumped your running back, like how pumped the team would have been that your pride and joy in Ashton Jeanty on offense would have pounded that rock in. That's what you're trying to do. It gave me flashbacks to Pete Carroll in Seattle, where you have beast mode and you're doing this trickeration that didn't need to be done. There's a reason why other teams don't do this. So I'm glad we got the win, guys. The defense played with their heads on fire. It was great. But it's sustained drives. And you could see in the second half, the Raiders weren't maintaining drives, weren't moving the ball. And so they gave Tennessee opportunities to get back into the game. And you see the defense was starting to get a little gassed. You started to see chunk plays happen for Tennessee, and those plays never should have happened because you should have had more time on offense. So that's what I want to see going forward, is the ability to, pick your 5 run plays and say, we're going to run these 5 plays because we're so good at these 5 running plays that no one can stop it. They don't have any textbook plays like the Eagles with the tush push. Like, you can't stop it. You got to have some textbook plays in your arsenal that you say, you know what, we're doing this. We're going to let the defense know what we're doing, and they can't stop it. And we haven't developed that identity as an offense, and you have to develop the run game identity. I think that would take a lot of pressure off Geno Smith. You got to put him under center and run a traditional offense. This shotgun pistol thing is not working. You got Kansas City up next week. For some strange ass reason, the Raiders always play really well in Kansas City. So I don't expect them to win. I expect them to just be competitive. If you can steal a game and now you and the Chiefs are 3-4, that would be incredible. I think the Raiders are a 2-touchdown dog right now, going into that game. So if you can make it a field goal, like if the Chiefs have to have a game-winning field goal, that's a win for me.
Yeah, he's missing a lot to the left, by the way, in Butker for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
I know. I
oh,
know.
yeah. Smallest
I would love to
violin,
block that one.
saddest
So
song. Yeah,
love to
fuck
block
that guy right in the ear with no lube.
I
The
think
other
the Eagles and the Raiders are very similarities this season in terms of second half adjustments. I mean, like I know Jalen Hurts isn't throwing picks like Geno, but in the retrospect of just getting the run going, and it just seems to be that it can't get unlocked right now, and hopefully that identity gets
Yeah.
unlocked for both teams.
My final thing is, I was looking at the roster, and I didn't know this until right before kickoff. I was reading an article where the Raiders have like 11 rookies on this team right now, and this is the largest rookie class the Raiders have ever brought in any era, any season. So it's the largest rookie class they've ever had. And then they got like another 15 guys that are in their second or third year. So half the roster is rookies or guys in their second and third year. So I expect next season that trend to continue. I expect another 10 or 11 rookies on this roster. Um, and that's something that we know about Pete Carroll. He flips the roster. And this is something that we went from John Gruden, Reggie McKenzie, and then John Gruden, Mike Mayock, and then you go to McDaniels and Ziegler, and then you go to Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco, and now you're here with Pete Carroll and John Spytek. So there's a lot of players that left this team, like Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo were developing as good linebacker names. Um, and they're doing well on their teams in Atlanta and New England, but they didn't fit the definition of a Raider with Pete Carroll and John Spytek, and that's been a problem for this franchise. Is every time you change the GM and the coach, you're changing the definition of what type of players you want. So you're letting these guys walk, and then they develop on other teams. They become stars on other teams, or rotational players on other teams, or whatever. And as a Raider fan for 20 years, we're like, how come these guys keep leaving and they do good over there? And it's because of the continuity. It's because stability in other franchises. And that's something that I hope changes, is that, like, I know it's not what we wanted as Raider fans. Um, but now that I'm faced with reality of living through it, is that, you know, the continuity is the biggest enemy here, and we need some consistency. So you got to ride this season through. You got to ride next season through, and I think you really have to give Pete Carroll all 3 seasons to really turn this roster over and implement the program. Because you need to, if he fulfills his 3-year contract and he makes it those 3 years, obviously that means Ashton Jeanty is in his 3rd year, and this whole rookie class is in their 3rd year, and so on and so forth. So I mean, like, you really have to stick to your guns and let this process develop. I like what they're doing as far as, like, roster for the young guys. It's going to take some time, and that hurts, because for us as the fan, this is 20 plus years of darkness, of pain and sadness and losing, and that's hard to deal with, right? Um, for Pete Carroll, it's year 1 in a building process. And for Spytek, he's looking at it like the Eagles, like, Howie Roseman. He's been there 20 years of building these teams. And I went back and I looked at the Eagles draft when Howie Roseman took over.
Oh, he
And
was ridiculed. People wanted him fired after day one.
yeah, I mean, but you look at that draft class, he hit on like 1 pick the first year. The rest of the class was terrible. His best drafts are all like within the past 4 years. Like right now, his best drafts are on the roster. Like, if you look at their roster and how they won, the best draft classes are like right now. Like, he's living through it right now.
Yeah,
So
he was
it's just
ridiculed because
interesting how the roster comes together.
he took Jalen Rager over
Ooh,
Justin Jefferson, right?
yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad
And,
one.
and
Yeah.
while yeah, hindsight is 2020, that's probably the better pick is to go with JJ, right? But if you think about it, Jalen Rager gets traded. That's draft capital, which ends up becoming incentive to be used to trade for AJ Brown, which you also use that draft capital to go get, Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. So who's to say, you get a Super Bowl ring out of it, or maybe you're paying Justin Jefferson and you can't get enough talent to produce a quality team. So hindsight is always 2020, but I'll take the Super Bowl win over a missed draft pick any day of the year. So
Absolutely. So I think that's the blueprint they're going with. So I'm just trying to, stay positive, find the silver lining, and that, like, just like any other fan, I want to win. I want to feel good on Mondays. I want to talk crap at the water cooler as well. But you got to look at this roster, and they don't have they don't have that quarterback in the middle of the field on defense. Max Crosby's the heart and soul. He does everything right. But you look at the best teams, And it's always great to have that edge rusher, but the best teams, the guy with the green dot is the linebacker in the middle, and having a safety and a corner that can take, some of the wide receivers out of the game. And you don't have that on the second and third level right now. Offensively, you don't have a line and you don't have a legit number one wide receiver, even with Brock Powers when he's healthy. So they're missing some things. And on the offensive line, you need five guys and some swing guys, some guys to step in. And Colton Miller's out, and the other guys, we don't know about JPJ. Right now, he's really good. He's the best that we have, but we don't know if he's a Pro Bowler. We don't know if he's all pro. We don't know if he's going to hold it down for 10 years with these concussion problems. So Colton Miller is like the only one that's a proven commodity. Everybody else is like, right now the tape shows that they're not very good. So you have some serious holes to fill. I'm just glad that they got this win. So I feel good today. And you see some of the progress being made with some of the young guys. That's what I'm looking for the rest of the year, is these young guys keep taking steps. And, last year with Brock Bowers, you had some other good draft picks. So I still feel like there are two draft classes away from being really serious contenders. And the final thing I'll say is like the feeling of having a young quarterback on the roster, where, like, look at the Giants. They get the win against the Eagles. They feel good, but even at, what are they, 2-4? Um, it feels different, right? It feels different, like, that you have that guy. And even Tennessee, you feel like Cam Ward can be that guy. You just need to get him the right head coach and offensive coordinator. It makes all the world of difference when you have that young quarterback. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is build this roster up and put a quarterback on it. And they're like the Golden State Warriors, man. They try to walk this fine line of winning right now and building it for the future, like this two timeline thing. And in the NFL, that does not work. It will not work in the NFL with the salary cap and injuries and all those things. So I'm feeling good today, but there's a lot of work to be done, guys. I give them a C. They should have blew this team out of the water, but they get a C grade because they get the win, but they made a lot of mistakes. It was not a pretty win by any measure.